Hey! If you're looking for the absolute best dinosaurs to tame in Ark, Survival Evolved, then you've come to the right spot. In this guide, we'll be going over which dinosaurs to tame and what use they might serve you in the world of Ark. Rex. It's difficult to start this list off with anything else but the apex predator of the dinosaurs. Rex is the most powerful of any dinosaur in Ark, Survival Evolved, and is certainly worth the daunting task of taming it. Rex has a ridiculous amount of HP and a high melee attack stat, meaning that players will be able to use it as a tank in both PvE and PvP battles. It's also quite useful to raid an enemy's base, as players won't have much to combat you on a trustworthy Rex. Also, players can use Rex to cheese several different boss fights in Arkansas. Taming this giant dino might take some time and a few tries, but it's worth it to take control of the fiercest predator the game has to offer. Stegosaurus. We're sticking with the PvE theme and going with the Stegosaurus, which is an invaluable dinosaur to have early on in Ark, Survival Evolved. The Stegosaurus is a herbivore, which means it's easy to tame and can offer similar benefits as the Gacha. However, players in the early game will likely tame the Stegosaurus to harvest copious amounts of berries specifically, but also other food items found in PvE areas. Not only are berries a great way for players to keep their HP up, but they are used to craft more advanced items that players will need later. Most notably, berries are used in the crafting of narcotics, which is an item that's required to tame other dinosaurs in Arkansas. In addition to all of that, the Stegosaurus can carry a ton of weight and has a high amount of HP, making it the perfect travel companion for resource runs. Gacha. Moving away from strictly combat dinos, the Gacha is a must-have for players participating in PvE gameplay. A relatively easy taming process means that most players will be able to have their own Gacha and earn the rewards that come with that. When the Gacha is fed certain resources, they produce crystals on their back. These crystals can then be cracked and contain various resources that players can use for other purposes in Arkansas. These resources can even be specified based on what players need at the current time. PvE players should look to tame a Gacha as quickly as possible for this reason alone. Managarm. It's time for a fun mount to make its way onto this list, and what's better than the Managarm? This dino can glide through water or on land, allowing players to make their way across most terrain in Arkansas. The Managarm also has a boost ability that lets players travel at a blistering fast pace across the map. They can either use this boost ability on the ground or in the air, making the Managarm a truly versatile traversal mount. For combat purposes, this particular dino isn't the best at close-range fights, but it does have a freezing breath attack that can deal damage at longer ranges. Most players will find more use out of the Managarm as a mount, though. Snow Owl. While it might not look like it at first glance, the snow owl is one of the most valuable creatures to tame in Ark, Survival Evolved. For PvP gameplay specifically, the snow owl has the ability to heal players from the sky and also dive to the ground, which creates an AoE explosion, damaging any enemy caught in it. Whether players are raiding a base or fighting enemies in the open, this dive attack is a great way to bust open an enemy's defense. In addition to those traits, the snow owl has infrared vision, letting it see enemies through walls and other structures. This allows it to target enemies that players might not be able to see themselves. Finally, snow owls also produce pellets, which can be fed to the Gacha to produce more resources for PvE needs. Katol. The final dinosaur on our list is the Katol. When you talk about versatility in Ark, it's hard to not include the Katol as both a mount and combat asset. This huge aerial creature has one of the biggest carrying weights in the game, meaning players can load it up with resources and other mounts/tamed creatures. In addition to that, the Katol can actually support a base on its back, meaning players could be completely mobile if they wished. PvE players can also use the Katol to gather resources on the ground, harvest fish using its long break, and kill creatures from the bird's back. For combat purposes, the Katol doesn't feature many attacking abilities but can be used in raids on high mountaintops or during big battles in PvP. As the Katol is the largest flying creature in Ark, it features a high HP stat that allows it to be a decent tank. However, its true purpose in combat should be using other items on its back to deal damage to enemies. That's our list of the best dinosaurs to tame in Ark, Survival Evolved. If you're a beginner in Ark, then you can check out our list of best beginner tips to get you started and make the world seem a little less daunting.